Hey, I've been asked about scales and what to do and how to use them, and I said, why not just use the principal scales and transpose to where you want to, and that wasn't really completely understood. So I'm going to show what I mean with that, and we're going to look at a small well, there's only 2 bar of music, and just like Chef Ramsay or any other of those TV chefs, here's one I have made earlier. I'm just gonna put it there, I guess, and here it comes. Yes, and when we play it, you'll recognize it, I hope, as the first 2 bar of Avicii's Levels. If it would play, let us just a second. Well, that should do it. Let's listen again. Okay, so that's the first 2 bar of Levels, and if we examine this piece of music, we will see that this is played on D sharp, and here we have an F, and here we have what is G sharp, and that's a G sharp. So we have black key, white key, black key, sharp key or black key, and we have a white key, and we have a sharp key. So this is played on both sharp and white keys. Normally in sequencer music, we only talk about sharps, but of course some of the black keys are called flats. But we don't care. We call them sharps, whites and sharps, and that's of course where a lot of people put bum notes in a piece of music. I say, where can I put the notes? Well, in LMS, we of course have the tools to mark the scale, and then you are home in a way. That's the first, should say, option you have: mark the scale and only use notes inside the scale. But we're talking about principal scales, and that's what I'm going to show you. The principal scale is a scale where you only play the white keys. And the first thing we're going to do here is to figure out what is this music played in. For that purpose, we need a bass line. And I have one here I made earlier. And we're gonna dump that in here in C. It's not really in the bass position, but we're not gonna care about that a lot. So let's listen to this. That sounds absolutely horrible. So the bass line cannot be in C. Let's move it. It's not very much better. No, 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 no. No, 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 and no. I don't think so. No. Absolutely not. Hello. Oh yes, let's put that in the bass position. Absolutely. Let's put it up again. Some that may not know elements, or LMMS as it is correctly named, I call it elements, you move, or you can move a block of selected notes by pressing Control and use the arrow keys. Now I'm going to put it 1 octave higher and back to the position. See? Hopty, 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 hopty. That's very smart. But the interesting thing here now is that we actually have learned something about Avicii's levels. We know the key, because where we can put the bass in, that is almost always the key. And we can see here that this is in E. So we now know that the key is E. Then the question is it major or is it minor? Well, this sounds pretty happy, so I would say it is major. This piece, these 2 bars, is in E major. And of course, I already prepared that, because if we go in here, see a mark current scale, ding, then we can see that all the notes in this piece of music is inside the E major. Why is that interesting? Well, let's mark all the notes. See, E major has a complementary scale called the principal scale, and the principal the principal major scale is C major, and I'm going to transpose, which just means move, all the notes to C major. And because I have this bass line here on E major, when I move this bass line down to C, then I have this piece of music in C major. This is now in C major. Has the tune then changed? Obviously not. Nobody would have any doubt that this is still Avicii's levels. So I have moved all the notes the same number of semitones, or degrees as it also is called. There's 1 semitone between each of the keys on the piano roll or the keyboard. So 1 semitone from C to C sharp, 1 semitone from C sharp to D, and so on. It's also called degrees. And that has to do with something very strange called the color of the sound. But I think I'll leave that out now. The interesting thing is, because I have moved all the notes the same number of degrees, and I have put it into the principal scale, the principal major scale, C major. Now look at the notes: white key, white key, white key, white key, white key, white key, white key. There's not a single sharp in this piece of music. And that's because C major is the principal major. So if we want to compose in major, we just have to compose in C major and forget about the sharps. They are not used. We don't have it's not that we don't have to use them. We mustn't use them, except when we want to do something where someone is stabbed or something like that. For movie, I don't know if you want to do that. But we do not use the black key in C major, and I can transpose this piece of music to any position on the keyboard, and that will now be in A major. Listen. Still Avicii's levels, right? A sharp major. So why what is this about all those scales? Well, the scales are there because if you have a performer that covers a specific part of this the keyboard, then you have to be able to play the music so that your solist or your lead singer or whatever can cover the music. So if you perform live, you need to know how to play all the scales. Then you can forget everything I have told you now. But if you compose on your keyboard in your sequencer, you only need to know the C major, and that's the white keys. No problem, except minor. What about that? Oh dear my, that can't be good. It is good, because just as we have a principal major, we have a principal minor. It's called A minor. Every key in the A minor, every keyboard key in A minor is a white key. It is said that the A minor and the C major is complementary. It means they're using the same keys. It's crazy, but it's true. It's just a question about where do we where do we have our song key? We could put this down now here in minor. This is now in A minor, and we have a bum note here, and we have a bum note here. So we can't play a major piece in minor. Of course we can't. That's a major piece. If we try to play Avicii's in A minor, we have to move these bum notes here, and it won't sound the same way. We have to move that one, and we have to move those two, and there are rules for how you can do that. Let's listen to. I think you can hear that it is now in another mood. It is sadder, and it's not even close to being Avicii's levels anymore. So of course you can't do that. But if you have a piece, or you want to compose in minor, then you just use the A minor as your song key, and you can move it to any place on the keyboard where you think it sounds the best. Just remember, all the notes has to be moved the same number of semitones. That's very important. If you forget a single note, it will be a bum note and will sound like not good. Right. I don't think I have to say anything more about this, except that we have all these scales. I'm gonna pull them in here now so you can see in LMMS we have the possibility to show the scales, and you can see some down here that is really funny sounding. The Hungarian minor, the Dorian. I don't know if that's Frigolidian is in here, but in fact there are many more. I will for instance, you can go into Wikipedia and find the scales there, and in fact all, not all, but many of the scales has modes which are different way to play the scale, and then we're going into something called the color of the music, or the color of the sound, really, and that is extremely nerdy and very well, academic, really. But if you're going to be the next Wagner, you'll probably have to know about that. Not if you compose on a sequencer, and not if you only have to to do that. Playing live or playing with along with another piece of music. Yes, you need to know the scale, and need to know how to play all the scales. But composing, you don't. That's what I have for you today, and I'll say thank you and goodbye.